I want to know if you've ever had a moment in your life where you said to yourself, I think I might be in a horror movie right now. And how did you react to that moment? Did you say, nope, get the fuck up out of here? Or did you take it on, take it head on? How did you respond to this moment in your life? I'll let y'all go first because Matt, you look like you're ready. So,
Well, I just got done telling the story for Wallet Media, which will drop on Halloween. Actually, Will, I I think you were here for this. I know Katie was, and I know Justin was. But when I first moved into this house, before we officially moved in, when we were still living in Elgin and moving all the shit over, there was a night where I went after work and dropped some boxes off in the garage. And while I was unloading the car, I clearly heard someone say my name. So I went and I looked around, and there was nobody out on the street. There was nobody walking. It was dark. It's like almost 1 in the morning. Nothing. It might have been about 11:30. Nothing. When I came back, it was about 1 in the morning. So it freaked me the fuck out. And I did the smart thing and I said, I'm going to get the fuck out of here.
mm-hmm.
However, then I called Kate and she started freaking out, saying, well, what if somebody's squatting in our house? What if blah, 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 this and that? I can't go there. We can't bring Zoe there, you know, until we know. So I went and gathered some weapons, a pipe wrench, and some other things, and I called my friends on a Zoom call that I held on my phone, and they got to live through a what could have been a found footage horror movie. As I went back to the house armed, and traipsed through the house, showing off the house while looking for the possible person that may or may not have been living in my house. Um, and it was very much, at least for them, very much like getting a live action found footage movie and me
Mm-hmm.
being a character in a live action found footage movie, walking around with my fucking camera, just like checking the rooms, checking the closet, fucking had to go up in the attic. Like, I don't know what the fuck it was. We assumed it was a ghost, and I'm pretty sure I dropped that ghost off in Michigan with Bill. So,
Yeah, yeah. I've moving into a new house, and the noises that the house makes is always a thing. I'm sure both of you have also had these moments too, where you're in your house and you're in a room, and there's a noise from another room. So what does that mean? We got to go check it out. It's always you go look. Sure, I'll go look. I'll die first. Cool. And you know you go, you check it out, you look around every corner, look in every closet, look everywhere, open the doors, close the doors, make sure they're closed securely, and all that other kind of stuff. It's happened here mostly when we first moved here, but it happens every now and then still. But we'll be upstairs and we'll hear a noise downstairs. I'm just like, it's just the house doing weird shit again. It always is, but go look. I'm like, all right. So I get up, I go look. I'm like I said, nothing down here. Opened all the doors, turned on all the lights, checked everything out. Nothing here. Looked in the garage, all that shit. There's nothing here. So if it's a ghost, it's a ghost. I don't know what to tell you. Didn't want to be found.
I remember that story. I wasn't on the call, Matt, but I remember hearing about it shortly thereafter when it happened. For me, I also I'm. This is always my go-to story. I know Matt's heard it because I've told it on Getting Offed in the past. I'm 100% positive that we lived in a haunted house when I was a young kid. There was enough that happened to me and my sisters and my family, like individually, that I think the house
Well,
was
just
haunted. But specifically, what I remember, and the one thing I always tell people, and I'm like, this is how I know, is because every night I slept in that house and I dreamt the same person showed up in my dream every night. And I still to this day stand on that. And I was like, yes, it was a real life horror movie.
I'm with you. Well, I already told y'all about the shit that's happening in this house because it is what it is. Whatever. Everywhere may be a ghost in here. Who knows? Somebody probably died here. But I used to work at this hotel when I lived in San Antonio before I was an insurance agent. And multiple people who worked there had already told me this hotel is haunted. Those of you who don't know, it's the Omni La Mansion in San Antonio, Texas. Used to be the La Mansion Del Rio Hotel before Omni bought it. Before that, it was a school, all that other kind of stuff. And like apparently kids died in there and all that other kind of shit. There were other there have been times when guests have come downstairs, like in the overnight shifts, and have come downstairs like freaking out because they said they saw a little kid standing at the foot of their bed staring at them and shit. It's a whole lot of stuff that would happen in this hotel. The doors at certain times would like randomly open and close for no reason and shit. So when I was working there was a period of time where one of our overnight people got fired and the other overnight person quit. So in the valet department, we had to rotate who was working overnight shifts every week. And it was my night one night. Fucking hated it because going back and forth between overnight and day shift is not fun. But one of the things that you have to do when you work overnight valet, we're in one of those hotels that do like courtesy things, like for certain people who are members and all that, they get a newspaper every morning. So you have to drop off the newspapers in front of their doors at like 3:00 in the morning. So I grabbed one of the bell carts just for luggage and loaded up with newspapers so I can walk the floors and drop a newspaper in front of everybody's door who's supposed to get one. Well, this hotel, certain walls had these mirrors on them. There was one day I got off the elevator on one of the floors. It was the 4th floor, which is where most of the incidents have happened, is on the 4th floor. I get off the elevator, turn the corner out of the elevator. There's a mirror right here. And in the mirror, I see something go behind me in the mirror. And I'm like, nope. And I just keep walking. I'm like, I'm not going to acknowledge this. This didn't happen. Whatever it is, they are not after me. I ain't do nothing to them. So I'm going to mind my goddamn business. And I'm going to continue to deliver these newspapers. And I'm pretty sure had I acknowledged this and not decided to mind my black ass business, something would have happened. So I went on about my business, delivered these newspapers, went back downstairs, like everything good. Like, yeah, no problems. I'm staying right here.
So essentially, you're Brenda and I'm Cindy from Scary Movie 2.
Yeah.
Tracks.
Yep. Because I decided I was not going to participate in that.
And I actively went back to the house.
Yeah.
To participate.
Might be the whitest thing you've ever done, Matt.
It might. I didn't want to though. Like it wasn't like the fucking what is that? Like the feminine need, the Caucasian need inside me was like, I need to go figure out what this is. Like, no, my wife said I'm not going back to that house till you figure out what the fuck.
I understand why you did it. I 100% get it. And in the same situation, I most likely would have done the same thing. It still would have been the whitest thing I've ever done. So,
I do insanely white things all the time. I run marathons.
Oh, man. That's it for that. Let's watch another trailer, though, since we're talking spooky season stuff. Let's.
Oh, what do we got here? Hold on. When I was in 6th grade, this is from Allison, by the way.
Okay.
I was waking up from the bus stop when I got to my neighbor's driveway. Well, walking up. No, she was waking up in at the bus stop. When I got to my neighbor's driveway, who lived behind us, I could see someone sitting on our back porch. I yelled out to them to see who they were, and they wanted what they wanted. I took about 10 steps closer, and they disappeared. I ran so fast into that house, into like your house. So they were on your back porch, and you ran past where they disappeared and into the house.
Said they were on the back porch,
right? But they were on her back porch, and she said she ran into the house. So I'm assuming she's running into her house.
So she didn't run past them,
but she's still running towards danger.
Oh yeah, that still happened. But I'm saying she didn't actually run past them. So
no, she was walking from the bus stop so she could see the back porch.
You
see what I mean?
Yeah.
So she thought somebody was standing on their back porch, and she yelled. And when she realized what happened, she ran through the front door.
Gotcha.
And probably still would have been me walking past the house, and I would have
still a little questionable.
Yeah.
I would have gone back.
Somebody was nobody else at home. Was somebody else at home? That makes a difference. If somebody else was at home,
my back porch, I ran into my house because the neighbors were not home.
but was anybody at home at your house?
The person on the back porch.
That's my point. If nobody was home, then that's probably a bad idea.
Travis, you remember the house that I lived in South Holland? That house was over 100 years old. It was my great-great-grandfather's. And we used to hear voices all the time in that fucking house. Like, I remember distinctively the fucking dolls that my mom had on the stairs and like fucking moving them so that they weren't staring at us. But also, like, I'd be in the house and we'd hear the piano playing and no one would be in the house but me. My mom would be like out in the garden, or I'd hear someone call my name and I'd walk through the entire house and everyone was outside working on shit and I was inside playing video games by myself. Like,
well, the difference there is that's your house, your grandfather's house and all that other kind of stuff. Any ghosts in that house were your ghosts. Like, that's different.
I don't know what kind of crazy shit my grandpa got up to. He might have murdered people in that house. Oh, the 90s when you could just leave sixth graders at home alone and nobody thought anything was wrong.
Latchkey kids, man. That was our life.
That's real life. I think about the fact, looking back at when I was a kid, for instance, me and my sister, my older sister's almost 3 years older than I am. My youngest sister's almost 4 years younger than I am. So 7 years between oldest and youngest. Joyce was in the 6th grade and my mom would let us go home after school by ourselves. So a 6th grader and then a 4th grader and then somebody in 1st grade by themselves for like 5 or 6 hours. And I'm like, that would never fucking happen in 2024. Never. Not a chance would that happen.
The 6th grader can watch the rest of you.
That's exactly what my mom said.
Jay said we had knives as a kid. My sister and I would have said nothing and just stabbed them from the inside.
Yeah. I mean,
Fair.
the 90s, man.